So, hello, welcome, and at the behest of some people, namely Levy, a few others have kind of mentioned it in passing as well, but Levy wanted special mention, or at least deserves it, for suggesting that I make less explainy type videos sometimes, and just more, well, I don't really know what, just less explaining, if you will. So, I guess I'm just going to record myself doing stuff and kind of just say about what I'm doing, what's going on, and stuff like that. Really? Because I guess that's the best thing to do. I have my monocle, my dragon's eye monocle. Unfortunately, this does mean that I won't have night vision, which kind of sucks, so I just leave that on. And I can see everything bright as daylight, despite it being maybe dark as balls. Either way. At the moment, I'm working on a bitching underground area-ness. Still not sure how I'm going to go about this. I'm just clearing it out at the moment. Either way, the final ceiling height will probably end up being about here. Maybe. Depends on how much room I need, really. In the meantime, just a flux-infused pick, because why not? I'm just going to mine out loads. Hell, I might even just time-lapse this. Well, I say time-lapse, more just compressed down to really small proportions. I compress your soul. Dun 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 dun. Trying to think what I want to do with this. Okay, I got a central platform to come down onto. I'm not particularly happy with the mixture of red, white, and purple, so I kind of want something instead of the white to go with the purple. Maybe change the fence. I'm not sure really, but I am really liking this obsidian chisel. So it just looks so sexy. Obviously this is facts, so it's not what it would normally be. I think. Well, I could be wrong, but the looks okay, but it only goes so far. There's also a torch on it. I kind of want more appropriate lighting. Effectively, this is giving me in somewhat documenting my creative process about this whole thing. What creative process? I would say I'm not very creative. I'm okay. I can do stuff. No, not redstone torches, normal torches. Yeah, my internet seems to be holding up relatively well as well. Cobblestone. No, I can't put in chisel, so space. Hang on, I could put in cobblestone 2. No mind. Just spam downwards. So yeah, I am building quite low down, so I kind of want more levels that are a bit higher up than the bedrock, really. Hell, I might even raise the entire place up a little bit, the platform and all, so they don't come into just haziness down here. In the meantime, I don't really mind the haziness. Oh god, wrong type of brick, wrong type of brick. Chisel, small cobblestone tiles, small cobblestone bricks, there we go. Dun 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 dun. At the moment I've kind of mostly headed into one direction so I can get to that closer edge. With the mining, that is. Da, 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 da. I guess I could stream these kind of things instead. Maybe. I don't know, but then the problem is people doing it live would try and snipe on my base because obviously there's being an active server and stuff like that. I guess I could stream some things here, but you know, some people would just try and get in my face. There we go. The only thing I hate though is every time there's a restart, or every time I think I log out and log back in, I don't know which it is, my keybinds that I generate from the modular power suit just get undone. I only generate the one, which is flight control, but still annoying. Yeah, this place seems really bright, but let me take off my helmet a sec. Yeah. Be much nicer with the helmet on, but I would like to make it so that it looks extremely aesthetically pleasing to anyone who doesn't have night vision. Which hopefully won't be crazy many people, but Well, I don't know, I'll be down here a lot. This is the first underground base I actually want to do that looks really, really good on the inside. Generally speaking, I only tend to put effort in if it's an external feature. But at the moment, I'm only really building a tower, and I will eventually build more stuff on the surface. Well, at least I want to. I don't know, whatever will look good. And I'm sure my clanmates will yell at me later for various things. For like missing out on the ores down here. Oh shit, it's cobble. It's fine. It's only a little bit. I'll mind up a load of other stuff with Silk Touch. I contributed that. Something interesting I've noted on the forums lately as well is there's been a particular kind of pickup and discussion of kind of options to do with the economy and stuff. Now, I'm no economist. I tried to come up with some ideas, but other people have kind of pointed out that they're basically terrible or been done before and failed. Fair enough, I yield to that, but I figured something would have merit, but, you know. I'm not really sure how about best to go. One of my suggestions was chopping at the admin shop. Now, a lot of people consider it a buoy or an anchor to hold the economy in place. It kind of is, to kind of generate income, and they say that there's no other form of income, but at the same time, direct trade, you know, you don't need to generate money for direct trade. And if anything, direct trade can make things more interesting, but there's also voting, which does generate some, and at the end of the day, I think it kind of all comes down to how much people participate and how the economy deals with those participants, and stuff like that. People are looking for like item sinks. Something I did find interesting though is the economy did tend to be more active, and this has been suggested, and I agree with it. The economy tended to be more active when things like IC2 and UU matter were in. And I'll admit, it did give me a drive to kind of go for getting quantum armor, trying to generate the UU matter and making more materials. Problem with that was, as soon as you could get enough and get enough money together, you could generate massive solar panels and something from nothing energy, if you will. What would be really, really cool is you would get people who are dedicated to like buying in yellorium for reactors, produce tons and tons of power to produce a unique kind of item that can only be produced by people with lots of energy. Fluty crystal, I'll move that later. That'd be pretty cool, but, you know, suggestions for it have come around. Don't worry, that's just the crystal buffing me. But I don't know of any block that kind of does that at the moment. Other things have been floating around with, like, suggestions as to, what, like, new blocks and items. I've added some input to that. I'm hoping something good will come of it. I brought up a suggestion of ideas, and if anybody wants to make this a mod, I don't know if I should bring this up or not. Hang on, let me think. Yeah. I don't know if this will be made my mod by anyone, but something along the solar panel power has been done by IC2 and various others, but it's always been done very kind of crappy, really. It's always been done with a single type of panel, or in the case of IC2, you can get multiple panels into one, whatever, which actually doesn't work. But kind of grappling where you've had basically they've all been photovoltaic cells, which is they take sunlight in, they generate electricity directly. Nobody's, as far as I'm aware, nobody's done a solar power mod where they do effectively just a field of mirrors reflecting onto a single source. I know that'd be kind of probably hard to make, but you know, the more effort you put into a mod, the better the outcome will be in theory. Although you could say putting a lot of effort into just beating a rock, the result may just be the same as if you put very little effort in, just beat a rock a bit. I guess you're gonna have to have good knowledge and a good premise. And figure out how to go about it, but cobblestone panels, small cobblestone bricks, cobblestone. I threw most of my cobblestone into the clan's ME system so it could be compressed, but well, there's a couple of quite good bits of cobble there. Oh no, I have a couple of igneous extruders just churning it out occasionally, which is useful. Let's just turn this all into small cobblestone bricks. Oh, that's gneiss stone. Crap. But yeah, curious what other people think about things like the economies and other mods and stuff. But yeah, to go with my suggestion was fields of mirrors reflecting onto a single point to either boil water like a typical solar farm does, say Nevada or something, and I don't actually know if Nevada's got any solar farms. Probably does. It's hot there, isn't it? So yeah, like solar farms would focus onto a central point. All that light focus there would heat the water, boil it, turn it to steam turbines, stuff like that. Or you could get prisms to focus the light correctly, and you could get lasers with optimal efficiency stats. I don't know, it gets a bit complicated how you could really go about this, and how far you want to take it. Preferably the more complicated and the more variable the better, because people can use it for different purposes. Something else as well is with IC2 solar panels, and like the red power ones that you had, for example, they were always really easy to make. Like the silicon wafers for red power ones. The solar panels they didn't take up many. They took up a fair few resources, but they weren't complicated to make. And as a result, I've kind of think they lost something of that, because actually making a photovoltaic cell is kind of an art form, yeah, and they're always done in really, really clean environments, and making large ones is extremely expensive in real life. So, you know, you have to use rare materials. You can't just use iron or something to generate this, or as they suggested, like carbon, kind of ground up carbon. It's usually certain kinds of metals that have loose outer electrons. I know that's physics, but the point being is usually forms of rare metals. So you could say things like, I don't know, shiny ingots that you get out of ferrous ore in thermal expansion. That could work as a viable solar panel. And you might be able to find other metals to increase the efficiency, but you can't do what IC2 did with the kind of solar... Oh, I'm reaching the edge of my claim. The solar farm, the kind of compression into a single block. I know that was an add-on. I don't know if it was made by the people who made IC2, but you know, it's not really something viable you could do. Yeah, I know that physics in Minecraft aren't real, but these are suggestions for Tekkify. Tekkify is a very industrial mod, and a lot of the mods tend to gravitate towards kind of reality. As far as I can tell, it's like a mixture of technology all the way from the 1500s up through till like 1950. With some, for Tekkify specifically, and like other things with forays into, you know, things like Greg Tech, which have like fusion reactors. That's stuff we haven't even perfected yet. You know, that's futuristic technology right there. And obviously, you know, modular power suits, stuff like that. Yeah, it's very. Some of the stuff is very unique, and you could say, in some sense, Minecraft has its own physics. I think. You know, everybody seems to like, with the whole anything to do with teleportation or flight or stuff like that. You know, kind of moving people around through seemingly magical means tends to have recipes involving ender pearls on some level, because, you know, Endermen teleport around like crazy things. But I really wish there was something else that kind of used. I know what I want. I've just figured it out. I wish there were more mods like Thormcraft with a research aspect, but it was more science than magic. I know it may seem boring, but I'm talking kind of a similar style to Thormcraft. You stick stuff in, you kind of mess with them in a certain machines or something, or a table of some kind, come up with maybe not a thesis, a theory, an idea. On how things work, and you kind of attempt to put it into practice, and you get like a mini games with various things to kind of get idea. A bit like Forestry Bees, you get like mini games to try and get more research out of that. Or with Thormcraft 4's research, I'm not 100% sure how that works, but I heard there's a mini game involved in that to kind of increase your chances and things like that. I like the idea of the research trees, and I would like to see more of them. That's just might have a bit more cobble. I do love these flux picks. In powered mode, they are so useful. Don't know if I found it ridiculous we were able to enchant them from on like day 1. I would have figured something like that would have been cool, but hey ho, these things can happen. I mean, I actually no, not necessarily figured they would have been cool. I've got my own server, and I'm still catching things, pretty basic things that I have come up even on Tekkify before, and I'm like, oh, I should have remembered that and stuff. So I can't really blame anyone for missing things. I really can't. We're all human and crap. Anyway, what else? Yeah, research aspects, pretty badass. I mean, feel free to use any of these ideas, guys. I really don't care about kind of anything along the lines of like, oh, but you might sue us and stuff like that because you came up with the idea. Oh dear. Alice has managed to stick a man's head behind a table in Thief. Yeah, anyway, okay. So, here, explicitly, in this video, I will say, any ideas I put into this video are free for use unless I say otherwise in the video. And I'm telling you right now, anything I come up with in this video, go ahead. Do not need to credit me, use the ideas, run like the wind, I just want to see cool mods. So anyway, search tables, trees, physics, science, whatever you want to do. Chemistry, that's something people have tried to do, and I don't think they've done it particularly successfully, because I think they've tried to go down the trees of kind of typical chemistry, like actual real-world chemistry. I think that's something Greg Tech tried to do with implementing real-world chemistry. Not many people are a big fan of Greg Tech, mostly because I think people consider it a bit too difficult. I mean, there could be other reasons. I freaking hate you, Strata. I mean, everybody has their reasons for various things. I honestly don't know why. We got lag. Okay, so I'm just going to stop for a second and talk because the server's obviously lagging out. I'm going to crash. So, with things like Greg Tech, people kind of complained, said it was too hard. I think that's the primary reason people don't like Greg Tech, is because it's just too difficult. So, you don't want to make the research too difficult, you don't want to make the concepts behind it too hard to understand. You want to make it, oh, okay, it seemed to be okay. You want to make it playable. Is my internet just derping again, or is this actually the server? Very strange. Okay, I think it's my internet again. Really not sure on that front. So suddenly my internet went crappy. It's very strange. Okay, here's Skelly. Skelly's above me. Anyway, so ideas. Research is a cool idea. Science is pretty cool, technology and stuff like that, but don't want to base it too much on reality. After all, this is a game, this is Minecraft, you can be inventive with it. And magic is nice, but with Minecraft being such a straightforward, constructive game, magic can only go so far because there's not really much mysticism. I don't know, you have to kind of work it right. I mean, Thorncraft seems to do a good job of it. But that's like the only magic mod that I've seen that really works. I'm not going to say EE works on any level. EE3 is broken, EE2 is way overpowered. I don't know about EE1, or if it even exists anymore. I'm sure it does somewhere. Trying to think about, I'm going to try streaming more now as well. Thinking about that. Kind of get more things out there. Actually, I'm just mining cobble now, aren't I? I actually need to lay some of this down again. There we go. Right, chisel. That one. What else? I would actually like to do more explaining videos, oddly enough, but I'd like to make them their own separate category of types of things, just explaining mods in general, so people can kind of understand various aspects, but without interrupting regular Tekkify play. So I might just make a single player world where I just show off updates from mods and things like that, or just showcase them. I'd much rather do kind of like how some people do the snapshots of mods. Snapshots of like base Minecraft and the updates to that. I'd like to kind of like keep up with some of the more popular mods and show off them and their updates. Stuff like that. I don't know. It could be a good idea. It's an idea, at least. Also, I'd like to have a crack at explaining, at least on some level, like certain parts of science and physics, so that I can kind of improve my understanding, research the things myself as well, and kind of come up with the best, not necessarily best metaphors, because obviously no metaphor would describe it as aptly as the actual theory that people tend to come up with. After all, many people tend to think on them. But, you know, just a nice way to kind of explain in at least some form of layman's terms to people what certain parts of science and physics mean, so people don't get confused and think that this is going to cause this and stuff like that. A bit like how people got confused over the Large Hadron Collider. They thought it was going to be a giant black hole machine because it was planned to smash particles together at the speed of light, and there was the itty-bitty possibility that the scientists said that it may or may not make a black hole, even though that possibility is so freaking remote. Stuff like that. No, not necessarily to rest people's, kind of rest assure people, but more to just kind of so everybody kind of knows a bit more what they're on about. Not very good at biology or chemistry though. I know the physics side of chemistry better, but something I hated about my education was had awesome teachers all throughout my secondary school or middle school / high school, as you Americans may call it, or anywhere else. I'm sure there's a relative equivalent. But for me, British secondary school doing A levels, I had some awesome teachers for all of my A levels, but my chemistry course, the course itself, how it was set, a lot of the stuff that I really wanted to know, the kind of basis behind why anything did anything, was locked behind the one reason of you learn that in university. I really hated that. I like really hated that. For instance, in chemistry, any atom which has no particular magnetic orientation, so it has no positive side, or electromagnetic orientation, so it has no particularly positive side or no particularly negative side, but they still can bond and form gases or liquids. And they never explained why. Later I found out, as I came to university, that it's something to do with Van der Waals forces. I still don't completely understand it, but that little bit of information completely and utterly clarified for me why they did that. And because... oh, there we go, Thunderstrike. Because of turning on the pick. Now, I know this may seem petty or itty-bitty kind of to you, but to me, it would have made the process a whole lot easier to learn, because it was all locked away behind the, but it's part of university kind of thing. The teachers did express saying they felt it was somewhat silly that it was put behind that, and it would kind of make explaining easier, stuff like that. I say teacher, just the one, but sorry, my brain's gone off track now. I can do this. Certain things like that. So, I know there are certain failings in certain education systems where they think that you shouldn't need to know this when actually you may feel it's more integral. So, I'm of the view that certain education systems should be a lot more fluid than they appear to be. things like that, but that's a talk for another time, and for kind of more casual situations. Right now, I'm just trying to burn away time while I mine away this. I'll talk about random things. Hell, I might even omit most of this out and just go ahead with a ramp before. Where am I? Have I gone too... I haven't gone too far.